Marc Guehi is one of the best defenders in the Premier League, but with Van Dijk being Van Dijk and Konate still being under contract, is Marc Guehi going to start for Liverpool? Is he going to shake up a title-winning defensive duo? I don't know. In this video, we're going to break down Marc Guehi entirely, literally everything we know about the guy, how he could fit into Arne Slot's 3-2-5 on the ball kind of formation setup, why his recovery pace and kind of on the ball security might give him the edge over Konate in terms of starting on the right hand side of defence, certainly with Frimpong coming in. We'll talk about Frimpong later. And we're going to weigh it up as well and look at some weaknesses, why maybe his aerial weaknesses, which a lot of people are bringing up, and the right to do so, why they make him a risk perhaps against the top opposition. Welcome back to the George Scafe LFC channel, loads to go through today. What do we already know? Van Dijk's obviously getting no younger, and Konate's contract expires next season, and I've got to say, day by day it looks like he's going to be leaving on a free, the same as Alexander-Arnold, because these contracts are not being signed. We seem to be offering him a bit more money, and it don't seem to be getting done. Let's just leave that be for now. Let's talk Marc Guehi, because he's two-footed, he's press-resistant, and he's homegrown. Like, Kwanzaa's just left a homegrown asset. We're replacing him in that regard as well. But is he better than what we already have? There is no doubt Guehi will start over Konate. Obviously, if Konate leaves, like, Guehi will just become the second choice straight away if Konate leaves on a free. But what about now? We've got three top centre-halves here. Is he good enough to start? We're going to break down his profile, how he's going to fit into the system, some comparisons mainly with Konate. Let's talk Marc Guehi. Obviously, let's talk why would we talk Kwanzaa? Be weird if we did. Guehi, only 24, already a full England international and club captain, Captain Palace to an FA Cup final victory, massive in that run as well. Also in the Premier League, like, this was a good Palace side in terms of, yeah, maybe they finished in a similar position to previous years, but the football they were playing was way better in my opinion. They were way harder to beat, and they went on a great run at one point as well. He was part of the spine, he was one of the best players. He's a strong option for either, that's a key word there, I've put it in italics, guys, either left centre-half or right centre-back. He's two-footed, he's tactically quite flexible. For England, you've seen a different side of him. So it'd be very interesting to see if he does start with Van Dijk, which side he'll play on. I'm still actually torn. I think it's more complicated than people are talking about. We'll do a separate video on that, which side of the defence he'll start on with Van Dijk, because obviously Van Dijk's right-footed, but he's played on the left for ages now, and Guehi can play either side. Do you shake it up? Do you shake Van Dijk up? Or do you probably stay as it is, don't you? You probably stay with Van Dijk on left. Anyway, Slot wants a back three in possession. Perhaps Guehi fits either side of Gravenberch, dropping deeper, which I think we'll do next year. He can rotate in now, and he can start long-term once Van Dijk maybe leaves, or once Konate's phased out. So either or, I see the future for Guehi at Liverpool, and I see a future captain in Marc Guehi at Liverpool. This is the long term, like as I've written here. He's not an instant starter every week, perhaps, but he's part of the long game. Let's talk Guehi versus Konate, who's better on the ball, and then we'll talk about the defensive side in a minute. Guehi 0.67 successful dribbles per 90. Now that might be a stat you look at when you're looking at wingers, successful dribbles, but as a centre-back in a side that likes to keep the ball, you need to be competent on it and comfortable in your own, or you need to back your own ability, and I think at times Konate doesn't, and this backs that up. He's almost got double the amount of successful dribbles as Konate. He's comfortable in playing at the back. He's comfortable on the ball, moving us up the pitch, and maybe dropping into midfield, pushing into midfield, at times driving forward. We've seen Joel Matip do this a lot at Liverpool. We have seen Konate do this at times, granted, them crazy runs he does once every 10 games. But Guehi is more than comfortable to do that in the midfield, and that's obviously great in this Arne Slot system, which is going to look a bit different next year. Progressive, disguised passes, very good at 53% long pass accuracy, despite a high volume. He's trying a lot of these, and I've put on the bottom line there, one weakness, perhaps the odd occasional overhit pass or the misread pass, but that's, we all do, like, you know what I mean? Van Dijk's done that, Konate's done that. You don't want to be reading too deep into that. He's a very good long distributor, get my breath here. His composure under pressure is great. He's press resistant. He moves very well centrally. And Konate, whilst he's stronger physically, I think definitely, if they had an arm wrestle, I know who's winning. Oh my God. But he dribbles less. He plays maybe the safer pass when he shouldn't do, or maybe we don't need that, especially when Trent's leaving. Trent's always been the guy who's going to go, bang, I'm going to play the Hollywood pass, something that maybe Konate can't do, but I think Guehi can do that better than Konate can. And now Trent's gone, you need someone to do that from the back line, whether it be McAllister dropping in. Konate's not going to play a Diags. Van Dijk's going to play him, and I think Guehi can also play them as well. It's one of the best parts of his game. So whilst Konate's stronger, physically probably better, maybe, I don't know about quicker, I don't really know, to be honest. Let's put them in a race. I would definitely say Guehi's the better player on the ball, in my opinion, just from what I'm seeing from basic just basic things I'm saying. I think Guehi's better on the ball. But in terms of defending now, what he actually offers this team, and Arne Slot in particular, Excellent reading of the danger, 8 defensive actions per 90, very good. A clean style, which I've always noticed about Guehi, and I'm actually glad this stat backs that up. You know, sometimes you got an opinion on someone, then the stat literally disproves your opinion. It's like, shit, I was nearly right. But only 0.5 fouls per 90, despite a high tackle volume. We saw this for England as well. I think he's so good at, if someone beats him, I think he can get back and win the ball. But it's like, he's not going to do it in a reckless way. He's probably not going to give a penalty away. He's not going to give a foul or a booking, or he's going to play the full season, not get suspended. It's so important. It's discipline. Genuinely, I believe this. He's one of the most disciplined, maybe even players. Maybe players in the Premier League, certainly defenders. He's so well timed. His tackling's great. And again, he's quick enough. He's got the recovery pace to recover if needed. So I think he's a very nice option to have with Van Dijk, and the both of them, by the way. Not many fouls given there between both of them, so you're looking at a solid defensive partnership there. Unlike maybe a Romero, who's quite aggressive. Unlike maybe, I'd say Gabriel used to be that kind of player, quite an aggressive centre-half, but these lads, I think, are more clean, in my opinion. He intercepts, he sweeps, he presses high, he fits a 3-2-5 structure off the ball, and I've mentioned that quite a lot. What I mean by that is, it's kind of a 4-3-3, but then Gravenberch drops back in to make you 3 at the back, and then your wing-backs play kind of literally on the front line, make the 5. I think Frimpong did it a lot, Leverkusen. But Kerkez took up similar positions at Bournemouth, so I've written that down for the purpose of the video. I hope you know what I mean. He covers wide and central zones. He's good at either. He's not so much stuck down to one zone, like he has to be here, he has to be wide. No, I think he could do either. I think he could be comfortable in the middle of a back 3. In my opinion, I don't think he would play there. If Liverpool were to play a back 3, we'll talk about that in a bit. I think it would be a Van Dijk central, Guehi left, Konate right, which I think makes so much sense. And how scary does that sound, by the way? If you're a rival fan watching this somehow, why are you watching me? You must be a bit like, wow, where do you even penetrate that? Where are the weaknesses there? Maybe you could target Guehi in the air, as I'm going to mention now. What a transition that was. Oh my God, that was unreal. Maybe you could target Guehi in the air with a 52% aerial win rate. Not great, but he's a very intelligent defender who can position himself in such a way that he doesn't have to maybe challenge defenders in the air like Konate does. Again, Konate is probably the more physical, the stronger, the more athletic defender. But you don't need to. You play to your strengths, right? If you play your cards right, you don't need to engage in that kind of thing. Like Gravenberch ain't the best for me. Gravenberch ain't the best in the tackle, but he doesn't put himself in the tackle. He'll stand off and maybe win the ball from an interception. You've got to play to your strengths, and Guehi does that for me. So this, he's not very big, he's quite small, and he's not very good in the air. Gives a shit. He's not gonna. He knows he's not gonna put himself in those positions. And also, who best to have next to you in terms of winning the ball in the air than Virgil van Dijk? Like, my God, I think he'll be fine, guys. You know what I mean? He's not a destroyer. He's more of a cerebral kind of clean-up defender. You know what I mean? He's very good at sweeping up danger and mopping it all up, which I think at times we've really struggled with. You know what, like, if maybe they've had a pot shot the opposition and Alisson saved it, it's just in the 6-yard box, someone's got to clean it. I think Guehi's the man, that kind of cool head you want there, instead of Kwanzaa booting it in the goal. Instead of Joe Gomez falling over. It's like, this is the kind of guy you want cleaning that crap out the way. I'm about to move my light, guys, because my camera is overheating. Right, let's make this quick. If Slot goes to a 3-2... Oh, actually, I've missed one. Kerkez, I think if he plays on the left, I have a great relationship with Kerkez. Solid 1v1, both of them. And I think, actually, I prefer him on the right, I will say. I think that's more solid, but I think Guehi in behind Frimpong is a really great backup option. In terms of backing up a player who plays almost like a winger, I think Guehi's a great player there who can cover all that space, like Konate's done. I think they're both great there, actually, so I've got no issues who plays there. If Slot goes to a 3-2-5, Guehi, Van Dijk, Konate, they could all start. We've seen at times last year, in need of a goal, he'll go to a back 3. He'll play Robertson left centre-back, or he'll play Gravenberch centre-back. We've seen that a few times. You could actually do that with the luxury of 3 defenders, like 3 central defenders. So that's obviously a luxury we have had at times. We have had with Kwanzaa and with Konate, so with Gomez, sorry. But Gomez is always injured. Kwanzaa, for me, wasn't very good. These are 3 best centre-halves in the league in the same team, if we want to do a 3-2-5, which at times Arne Slot has been forced to play his hand and do. Guehi also gives Slot the kind of flexibility to rest Van Dijk in easier games. Van Dijk has never been one to be rested, no matter the game. Like, he'll always play Champions League or the Premier League, maybe FA Cup, and maybe League Cup he'll get rotated, but even then it's like League Cup he'll play. And yeah, I think Van Dijk needs that rest. He's not getting any younger. The same goes for Gravenberch. We saw last year what happened to Gravenberch. He plays so many games, you get depleted and you're more fatigued. Luckily, Van Dijk is almost. We're so lucky with Van Dijk and Salah out. These are great. I say great athletes sounds almost cringy because they should all be great athletes. They're all on that much money and they're all footballers. But I look at times with other clubs, they ain't gonna like John Stones. John Stones a great player, but he doesn't stay fit. Reece James, great players, doesn't stay fit. We've got Van Dijk and Salah who are great players, but they stay fit. It's like what a bonus that is. Do you know what I mean? So they're all great athletes, but some of them are better than others, I would say. Guehi also, I've done that, but he adds composure if Konate's injured, which happens a lot. Konate comes out, Konate comes in, it's shaken up a bit, or Gomez comes in, it's shaken up a bit. I don't expect that with Guehi. And if Konate's injured, we have no excuse as fan bases now. If we have 3 top centre-halves, my word. And also, even worse, if Van Dijk gets injured, which, God touch wood, hasn't happened in a while. We saw what happened when Konate played with Kwanzaa in the cup. In the final couple of weeks in the Premier League. It was awful. It was so bad. Guehi next to Konate, bang. There's a centre-half pairing right there. Big club mentality. Captain at 23, leadership stands out, future captain. I've written down here kind of 7 years plus, I don't know why I said 7, but this guy could be at the club for ages. Do you know what I mean? He's a typical model of a player would go for, 24, 25 years old. Loads of, a bit of experience, but also loads of future-proof. I would say future-proof. His profile fits the modern centre-back, demands mobile, composed and progressive. He can grow into that left centre-back or even right centre-back role alongside Slot's system as it tweaks. He's quite a mouldable player, I would say. He suits a lot of teams, a lot of systems, and he's proven that at Palace. Van Dijk turns 34 next season. Liverpool must plan a succession. We don't want to get forced into a thing with Trent where we're having to buy a right-back in that transfer window. Trent leaves, we've been forced to play and buy someone. Luckily, it was Frimpong. Luckily, there was a great one who kind of fell at our feet who wanted to join Liverpool, who's a lifelong Liverpool fan. But with Van Dijk, imagine if Van Dijk left, well, shit, we need to sign someone. Camera just overheated and nearly blew up. He's good, but he's not worth it. I was just saying about Van Dijk, if we didn't have a centre-half lined up and Van Dijk left, it'd be an issue. But with Guehi, we would have a centre-half lined up. Only one slide left as well. Let's keep it brief here. Will he start right away? Maybe not every week, but he brings depth, flexibility, long-term structure, long-term plan. Slot can trust him in the build-up, pressing, and kind of the width cover. He's quick enough to cover the wide zones. He's a more secure passer than Konate. He's more composed than Gomez. Also more reliable than Gomez, I'll say. He's also homegrown. He's only 24. He's captain. This is a no-brainer signing, in my opinion. And I'm seeing £40 million. It'd be a lot for me. It'd be a lot more than that for me. I think it'd be around 50 to 60, even though he's on his final year. Still, this is a great centre-half who I think we have to make a move for. I would actually prioritise a third-choice centre-back or a second choice in terms of my top 3 signings, maybe even top 2, more than a striker, in my opinion. Genuinely mean that. Let me know where you stand on Marc Guehi. I think it's a great signing. I think he starts straight away, in fact, over Konate. I think he's that good that he breaks up the title-winning duo. Let me know your thoughts down below. I really want to hear them. Subscribe also.